off it. Tucker and I followed the short path to the beach, and I kicked off my flip-flops next to a palm tree. I took a deep breath of the salt air as I stretched out my toes in the powdery sand. The sky above was clear blue, but billowy clouds nestled along the horizon as they waited for the sun to settle in for the night. We had the beach all to ourselves and walked toward the shallow water. It was Tucker's first experience of the ocean, and he sniffed at the bubbly white foam that left a crooked little trail along the water's edge. He sat down and watched as I waded out into the water. I looked back at Tucker, who had just discovered his first coconut. He pounced on it and paraded up and down the beach, carrying it in his mouth. I laughed out loud, and he wagged his tail in reply. "I see you, Tucker," I called and waved. The coconut was almost as big as he was, and when he tried to shake it back and forth, the momentum was too much, and he fell over and rolled down the sand. He stood up and shook himself off, quickly restoring his dignity. He placed an oversized paw on the coconut to hold it still, and began to methodically peel back the fibrous husk. Seeing him so happily occupied, I took a deep breath and dove into the clear blue water. Its coolness instantly covered my skin. When I popped back up, I saw that Will had arrived home and was playing with Tucker on the beach. He tossed the coconut, and Tucker pranced back to him, carrying it in his mouth. Will was wearing red surf shorts and waved as he saw me coming out of the water. "What a great puppy! I can't believe he's already retrieving." He bent down and held Tucker's head in his hands. "Welcome to our ohana, little fella." Will carried his surfboard toward the shore as Tucker toddled after him with the coconut in his mouth. He stopped just short of the water's edge and looked at Will with a hopeful expression on his face. I stepped out of the water and bent down to pet Tucker. He certainly was the perfect addition to our ohana, our family. "There's something very special about this puppy," I said. "I think he may be the best one we've ever had." "You say that about all of them," Will teased. His blue eyes twinkled as he leaned down and gave me a kiss before paddling out toward the waves. "And I'm always right," I shouted after him, laughing. I sat on the beach, and Tucker curled up next to me. I stroked the downy fur on his head and noticed his ears were a little darker gold than the rest of his coat. They had tiny waves that looked like they'd been crimped with a curling iron. He rested his chin on my knee as we watched Will catch a few waves. The horizon began to glow with orange and pink streaks where the water met the sky. "There is something special about you, Tucker," I said, as he snuggled in a little closer. "I can't wait to see what your calling in life will be." I picked up a handful of sand and noticed the subtle colors of the tiny grains as they fell slowly through my fingers. They reminded me of a poem I liked by William Blake called Auguries of Innocence. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wildflower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. It had been 5 years since I'd sold my CPA practice and taken a leap of faith to follow my childhood dream of training assistance dogs. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was fulfilling my purpose and was exactly where I was meant to be. Several dogs had already graduated from our program and were thriving with newfound purpose and making a difference in the world. We currently had 4 heroes in training, and I couldn't wait to introduce Tucker to his classmates the next day. The sun was just setting as Will paddled back to shore. He carried his surfboard in one arm and picked up the sleeping Tucker in the other. I carried Tucker's prized coconut as we headed back to our cottage with growling